welcome to SVG-TV News for Thursday, August 22nd, 2019. I am Yvesta Boynes with the details. The government has embarked on an extensive school rehabilitation program, which will see work done on 94 schools across St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The Building, Roads and General Services Authority, BRAXA, and other contractors carrying out the work are expected to finish in time for the start of the new school year on September 2nd. Speaking on the repairs being carried out, Minister of Finance Camila Gonzalez at a news conference earlier this week says it is a massive undertaking by the government.
Never before has there been an example of a government in St. Vincent and the Grenadines spending $6.5 million over 2 months to repair schools. Never. Back at the outset of the commencement of the education revolution, there was a repair and construction program, but it did not reach $6 million.
In addition to the government's funding for the repairs, the central bank is expected to fund repairs to 9 schools to the tune of $1 million EC. Further, under the BNTF program, major repairs will be carried out on 3 schools, namely Caliqua Anglican School.
Never before has there been an example of a government in St. Vincent and the Grenadines spending $6.5 million over 2 months to repair schools. Never. Back at the outset of the commencement of the education revolution, there was a repair and construction program, but it did not reach $6 million.
In addition to the government's funding for the repairs, the central bank is expected to fund repairs to 9 schools to the tune of $1 million EC. Further, under the BNTF program, major repairs will be carried out on 3 schools, namely Caliqua Anglican School, New Grounds Primary and Park Hill Government.
But this year, because we knew we were getting PAVE, which is a dedicated footpath project, Minister Caesar allowed some of us to spend our PAVE money on things other than footpaths. And the 3 of us, the Honorable Prime Minister, Minister Caesar and I, decided that we would use our BNTF money on schools. Prime Minister and Minister Caesar have spoken about their schools. At Caliqua, those of you who have visited with Caliqua will know that it is cramped for space.
New furniture will also be placed in some schools. Minister Gonzalez also noted that the repairs being carried out under the school's rehabilitation program have afforded employment opportunities to hundreds of Vincentians.
You realize you're spending $100,000 a day. And if it's $6.5 million now we go on, it's $110,000 a day. And you're talking about, on average, between $65,000 and $70,000 per school.
You have 73 contractors and about 400 workers.
And there is an army, as the Prime Minister is indicating, an army of contractors and workers out there doing this work in a very tight window of time. Now, at the end of it, I am sure people will come back and say, well, how they fix this and why they come there and do that part and so on. But that's why I contextualize it. 400 workers, 59 days, $6.5 million, 94 schools. It is, for a small country, an incredible amount of work and an incredible commitment to education and to the students and the parents across St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
The new investors of the Buckermans Bay Resort were hoping to have the resort reopened this year. However, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves said it is unlikely to happen. The PM said though it is another disappointment, he understands the reasons for delays.
I am disappointed that the process has been taking this long. And the thing is this, that there were several legal issues. And when you have the investors, you have the KPMG, who are they're the entity which is dealing with the entire liquidation. You have individual players outside of those down there. I'm talking about people with lands and for which no title had been passed, and then the government. It's a highly complicated set of legal issues.
The investors of the Buckermans Bay Resort include Vincentians, and the Prime Minister said he is pleased that efforts are being made to ensure that all the T's are crossed and I's are dotted before reopening, which may be sometime next year.
This will have to be sometime next year. Sometime next year, and I would think the amount of work which is required to be done, I don't know if that's going to happen before the next tourist season.
So that's late next year. Okay,
I would, well, it's complicated, very complicated. I'm glad the investors have come in.
The Buckermans Bay Resort was closed in 2016 after it went into bankruptcy. A trustworthy man, loved by the people, and the original comrade leader. These were some of the sentiments expressed today in Parliament by members of the government bench in their tribute to Sir Vincent Beach, who was laid to rest on Monday.
He was a good family man, a good husband, a good father and grandfather, a good comrade, my comrade leader, our comrade leader in the Unity Labour Party. And he will always be that, because he's the original comrade leader.
And through the education revolution, he lit a candle in every nook and cranny of this country, so that we see young people coming, looking so nicely dressed in their uniforms, going to secondary schools all over the country, and many of them excelling in getting numerous subjects, CXC passes, and going on to university, where their parents would have never dreamt that they would have a son, a daughter, a granddaughter, grandson going to a university. That's the candle he lit.
on the ground to the idea of this airport. And we had to meet with everybody in that constituency where the airport was going to be and say, listen, we're going to take your house from you. We're going to buy your house. We want to buy the house and move you and put you somewhere else, and we will help you get a new house. We will sell you new land, whatever the case may be. Big houses. Houses to which people had retired. And in those interactions, people needed to come in and talk to somebody that they trusted, that they knew was a straight shooter, that wasn't going to mama guide them, and that had their interests in heart. And that person was Sir Vincent Ian Beach.
And every consultation you go, every village, every farm, you'll hear persons saying, the days of Sir Vincent. And I'm happy to know that other ministers of agriculture, that they're built on the legacy of Sir Vincent. And many of the achievements we see today in the sector, we are actually standing on the shoulders of a very great man.
Members of the opposition also paid tribute to Sir Vincent, noting his sacrifice and commitment to SVG.
Sir Vincent, I knew, was in politics almost for as long as I can remember. There was always Vincent Beach somewhere around in politics. I went away for many years, I came back, he was still in politics. In those days when I was in school, I never thought I would have been in this honorable house, sitting on one side of the house and he on the other. He gave, I've heard from his colleagues who knew him better in close relationships, he gave of his all to the country. We may have differed about policy and about practice, but Mr. Speaker, I never questioned the sincerity, the motives, the commitment of someone who engages in public service for this length of time. That is not somebody who is just simply doing this as an opportunistic gesture. This is a life commitment.
As I left the hall, this parliament, last Monday, I knew I had just witnessed the end of an era. An era, in many ways, was reflected in Sir Vincent's life, both in terms of length of life and quality. He was a good man. And our God has taken him to be with him in paradise. I say to his family, the divider, and to his sons and daughters, and to this house, daughter, and to this house, we've all lost something that was important to us. Many of us are left to follow that route. Let us ensure that when we make and continue to make our contribution to the people of this country, we have an example to follow. May the Lord have.
Efforts are being made to facilitate a greater level of trading between Guyana and SVG. So says Guyana's honorary consul to SVG, Nigel Russell, who told SVG-TV News that he has been making arrangements for a Guyana-registered vessel to help facilitate the trade between SVG and Guyana, which, if all goes as planned, should commence operation in a few weeks' time.
Right now, there is one company that has decided that they are going to do this. That's as far as I can say right now. They are now in the process of signing their agreement now with an agent here. So that is how far we've gone. So we've reached that place now. We will be having shipments being done between Guyana, St. Vincent, and Grenada. So for me, it has been a joy where that was concerned because, you know, we want to do so many different things, but that was primarily the biggest hurdle. And it was not a simple thing if you would understand what shipment entails. They look at the freight cost, they look at the distance, and they look at fuel costs. Those are the three major things that they have to consider. I think the very first shipment is supposed to be the end of the month, early next month.
Russell says his office is open to all Guyanese living in SVG, and they should feel free to access its services, including verifying documents.
We would like to see more people coming to talk to us. Look, birth certificates seem to be the major issue. We have now taken that up with the Guyana government. 75% of the persons who have birth certificates, the information is wrongly stated. So it simply means that most of the things that they want to do here in St. Vincent cannot be done. 75 to 80%. And even from the original documents that they received, we don't know where this has come from. But birth certificates, as you'd understand, it's a major document, and if it is not accurate, the system here, the agencies here are not accepting it, and they have a right not to accept it.
The honorary consul said Guyana is also looking to recruit the services of Vincentians, especially to work in its oil and gas industry.
Workers from the Caribbean first. So we've linked now with Schomburg, which is the agency that Exxon has contracted to do recruitment. Schomburg will be down here in another 2-3 weeks. We'll be doing some recruitment. Training will be done here. The first part of the training will be done right here in St. Vincent, and then they will recruit it for Guyana. They've said, based upon what we've seen, between St. Vincent, St. Lucia, and Grenada, they have some of the technical skills that can be honed for the oil and gas sector. St. Vincent, within the next 6 to 12 months, will be one of the places that they'll be looking to get, particularly electricians, electrical engineers, welders, and those who I think have project management skills.
Russell further noted that he has been working closely with the Guyanese Association of St. Vincent and the Grenadines to ensure that all Guyanese in SVG are adequately represented. Computer-aided design evening classes will be made available to students who participated in the 2019 STEM summer program and other secondary school students who wish to join. During the summer program, the participants were introduced to computer-aided design and a 3D printer. Computer-aided design software is used by architects, engineers, drafters, artists, and others to create precision drawings or technical illustrations. CAD software can be used to create two-dimensional drawings or three-dimensional models. Founder of the STEM SVG, Petrus Gum, said that though the CAD software is considered to be a bit difficult, it is important that the students learn about the software because next year it will be compulsory for students doing arts and woodwork for CXC.
That's something that is just fashionable. It's something that next year CXC is demanding that students learn CAD, especially for the technical drawing section and for the woods and the woodwork section of their curriculum. They have to learn CAD. So the quicker we can get them involved and understand these various concepts, it's easier for them to learn the concept that they will meet in something like AutoCAD, because the same idea being transitioned, the same dimension, and a lot of them carry the same set of tools. Well, learning that and so forth, of course, the software and so forth, the only cost and so forth that we will be bringing forward, the 3D printers use what is called filament, which is like a thin piece of plastic that it melts to create or print what you want it to print. That will have a cost to it because it's not readily available here in St. Vincent. We have to import all of them. So if there is a cost, it will be a cost to help us get those back.
Gum said that this year's summer program was another success because the participants had the experience of turning their ideas into an actual product that they can touch. He said they were also able to design phone cases, fidget spinners, and plastic toys using the CAD software and the 3D printers.
The bit from the great disenchantment that we saw on the face of our students, it was a big success because a lot of our kids, we thought, now CAD by itself could be an intimidating field, an intimidating software for students to use because it can be information overload. A lot of them might run away from it because of the complexity and the learning curve that it might take to understand the CAD software. But we introduced this software in the STEM program in a nice, free and relaxed environment, away from pressures of having a grade and from having a mark. It was more of bringing their creativity forward. And a lot of the students bite onto that software readily, creating nice products, fine-tuning their phone cases, fine-tuning their fidget spinner, to the point where we were able to print it for them, and they were very excited by that. That by itself was one of the highlights of the program, where we get our secondary students to see that they can, those products that they see, they can actually be part of creating and engineering these same products for themselves. Once they take the time to understand the tools and the resources and become available to them, they can be part of creation of products that they see selling in the stores.
The STEM SVG founder urges parents to stop buying their children tablets and instead invest in a computer or laptop, which will be more beneficial to them.
Some of my students across the board in the program is that we notice, and I mentioned this at the closing, is that we notice that parents are quickly, because it's fashionable, maybe, are quickly giving students tablets, all right? Now, tablets are quick and easy to get. They're fashionable, as I mentioned, but their capability are limited. Limited to the extent like they use them for YouTube, they use them for watching a video or playing a game. But where we would like to take our kids in the development arena, the different softwares and so forth that we use, the tablet cannot do it. So we are encouraging parents, and we encourage them at the closing, to get a laptop for the students because it will serve them more during the school time. The tablet is too limited in its capability of what we would like to see our kids doing or completing in school and completing these kind of tasks. So we are encouraging parents to move towards the laptop.
Some of the participants in the STEM summer program spoke about their experiences learning how to use the CAD software and making actual products using the software and the 3D printer.
I did the design for the fidget spinner. I noticed there was a lot of pieces to be created and assembled. So that's why we went on a software called Onshape. It was a very compact software.
It was really mind-opening for me, or taught me, I should say, how to think outside the box, and it taught me many things I didn't know about the manufacturers, especially in the phone department. For instance, it taught me that manufacturers will give out information about the design of the phone so that case companies could develop and design phone cases even before the phones are released.
SVG continues to dazzle audiences at Carafesta 14 in Trinidad. Dancers from SVG's contingent put on quite a performance at the Carafesta Grand Market yesterday. Here is a snippet of their performance.
Is the language of the soul. It evokes vibes, passion, the energy, rhythm, and when the rhythm hits, you just dance.
Put on fire, me hand on fire, me chest on fire.